Hello and welcome to VNA News Bulletin. I'm Vi Hằng from Hanoi with the major stories. Xuân Hồng Pink Spring Blood Donation Festival kicks off in Hanoi. Vietnam attracts $2.8 billion in FDI in the first 2 months of 2016. Vietnam welcomes 1.63 million foreign tourists since the year beginning. The 9th Xuân Hồng Pink Spring Blood Donation Festival kicked off at the National Convention Center in Hanoi on February 28th in the presence of Vice State President Nguyễn Thị Doan. An estimated 25,000 people, of which 1,000 are volunteers, participated on the first day of the month-long event, which is expected to collect nearly 8,000 units of blood. Launched in 1997, the Blood Donation Festival has collected nearly 42,000 units of blood. Minister of Health Nguyễn Thị Kim Tiến, head of the National Steering Committee for Volunteer Blood Donation, highly valued the role of youth and students in blood donation events. Over the past 22 years, the blood donation movement in Vietnam has gained considerable achievements, particularly with the success of the Pink Spring Festival. The minister expressed her hope that the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion in Hanoi to continue the initiative, encourage people in all walks of life to donate their blood to save lives. Many events will be held during the festival, including street performances and camping festivals with participation of famous singers and artists. The inflow of foreign direct investments into Vietnam has continued to expand since the beginning of this year, with sharp increases seen in both the number of projects and amount of capital. According to the Ministry of Planning and Investment, by February 20th, a total of 291 projects were licensed, with a combined registered capital of over $1.9 billion, up 96.6% in terms of projects and 167.5% in terms of investment as compared to the same period last year. In the reviewed period, 137 projects were permitted to add the investment capital by almost $900 million, bringing the total amount of registered and added investment to $2.8 billion, a year-on-year increase of 135%. Most of the investments have been poured into processing, manufacturing, arts and entertainment sectors. Meanwhile, the amount of disbursed investment reached $1.5 billion, rising by 15.4% over the figure 1 year ago. 32 out of the country's 63 provinces and cities have attracted FDI projects, with Hanoi topping the list by drawing $242 million. Among 31 countries and territories that have registered to invest in Vietnam since the beginning of this year, Singapore was the biggest investor with more than $435 million. It was followed by Malaysia, the Republic of Korea, and Japan. Vietnam's shipment of seafood to Asian markets in January increased 35% over the last month of 2015. This shows that Vietnamese exporters are expanding their business to the Asian markets.
Statistics from the General Department of Customs indicate that the country's seafood exports in the period exceeded $552 million, up over 9% on the same period last year, and a 4.84% increase from December 2015. This is also the second highest export value of Vietnam's aquatic products over the past 6 years, second only to January 2014. In January, Vietnamese exports to key markets such as the US, China, the Republic of Korea, and ASEAN reported high growth rate. However, shipments to other markets such as the EU and Japan still faced negative growth.
Gia Stop Commercial Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam, or Vietcombank in short, is planning to increase its charter capital this year to become more competitive. More details coming up next.
The Hanoi-based bank said it would submit a plan to increase its capital at its shareholders' meeting for approval due on April 15 this year. The bank will also present its performance result in 2015, as well as plans for 2016 to its shareholders. Vietcombank currently has charter capital of about $1.21 billion. Its last capital increase was in the third quarter of 2014. To prepare for the capital increase plan, Vietcombank has signed a contract with Credit Suisse and the Vietnam International Law Firm for a new equity issue. Vietcombank General Director Phạm Quang Dũng said the equity issue would help the bank increase capital, keep pace with the strong economic growth, and maintain its leading position in the banking system.
Hanoi's index of industrial production for February fell by 27.2% from the previous month, but increased by 6.1% compared with that of the same period last year. According to the Municipal Department of Industry and Trade, in the first 2 months of 2016, the index was up 8.8% year-on-year. Specifically, the mining industry posted a slight growth of 0.5%, while processing, manufacturing and power production rose by 8.8% and 5.7% respectively. From January to February, production of food, clothes, metal and furniture recorded remarkable growth rates of 20.4%, 36.2%, 33.1%, and 199.4% respectively compared with last year. Economists attributed the decline in industrial production in February to the long holiday during the Lunar New Year festival. The industry and trade sector predicted that the city's industrial production will grow steadily in the coming months. Vietnam welcomed over 1.63 million foreign tourists in the first 2 months of 2016, up 16% compared to the same period last year.
According to statistics from the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, international arrivals to the country climbed sharply in some markets, such as Hong Kong, China, and the Republic of Korea, with 169.9%, 48.8%, and 31% respectively. Visitors from Western Europe markets that are eligible for a 15-day visa exemption surged in the review period, such as Italy, 25.6%, the UK, 90.6%, Spain, 17.1%, and Germany, 14.4%. Likewise, domestic tourism enjoyed a good growth, with 14.2 million holidaymakers recorded in the same period and a revenue of 80 trillion Vietnam dong, or $3.66 billion, an increase of 19% year-on-year. Notably, tourism in the capital city of Hanoi saw positive signs from January to February, with a year-on-year surge of 28% in the number of visitors, especially from Thailand, China, the Republic of Korea, and Malaysia. The city aims to attract 22 million arrivals in 2016 and earn 60 trillion Vietnam dong, or $2.72 million from the sector, up 8% compared with 2015. We will proactively carry out tourism promotion activities abroad in order to attract more foreign tourists. Hanoi, together with the Northwest, Central Highlands, and South Central regions, is selected as the country's tourism destination 2016 at the Vietnam International Travel Mart 2016, which is scheduled for April this year.
Vietnam is listed among the world's top 10 countries with great potentials to implement a clean development mechanism. However, local enterprises, as they develop, pay little or no heed to carrying out this mechanism.
This is the Clean Development Mechanism, or CDM project, recognized by the United Nations. To produce unfined clay bricks, this factory needs just 10% of the total cement volume consumed by a traditional brickyard. This helps the factory reduce the annual emission of 55,000 tons of carbon dioxide, enabling the project to earn nearly 10 billion dong to its CDM mechanism.
Trên thực tế thì
In fact, the United Nations has scrutinized our CDM project, and through consultancy units, it will fund all costs needed to implement the procedures. As a result, the project brings a lot of benefits to our enterprise.
According to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Vietnam now has 253 CDM projects, which release a combined 137 tons of carbon dioxide. Some sectors, including renewable energy, waste recycling and byproduct treatment, and forestry, are eligible to join the Clean Development Mechanism.
Carbon credits are now traded worldwide, normally purchased by developed countries. Vietnam is a quite successful dealer in the market, standing fourth in the global ranking in terms of the number of carbon credit production projects and 10th in the number of generated carbon credits.
But there is the fact that many enterprises do not pay much attention to clean development because they encounter various obstacles in implementing the mechanism.
Vietnam just has a few mechanisms designed to assist businesses in implementing measures to boost investment in technologies and enhance green growth. Up to 98% of domestically invested businesses are small and medium-sized enterprises, so they have limited financial resources, personnel, and capability. The price of a carbon credit reached the peak of $30, equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide, but it has since plummeted to a mere 20%. At the current price level, it is not enough to make up for the cost enterprises spent on resolving relevant procedures, so they show no interest in the mechanism.
The landmark agreement reached by the 2015 Paris Climate Conference is expected to drive carbon credit trading in the world market, which should push up the price, thus luring investments in clean technologies. But it is the concerning fact that the majority of Vietnamese companies are not aware of the significance nor the potential of adopting the Clean Development Mechanism.
Nguyễn Thành Phong and Nguyễn Khánh Dương have become the silver award winner of the 9th Japanese International Manga Award with their work titled Long Thần Tướng, or Holy Dragon Imperator. They were among 14 winners selected from 259 contestants from 46 countries and territories. This year's Gold Award belongs to an Israeli artist group with a manga called The Divine. Long Thần Tướng is a historical story with some fictional details about a young man named Long or Dragon who lived during the reign of the Chen dynasty, a time when the country faced a second Mongolian invasion. This period saw one of the most heroic chapters being scripted in the nation's history. Established by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 2007, the annual International Manga Award aims to encourage non-Japanese manga artists and honor their works. Ho Chi Minh City is encouraging women in the city to wear áo dài, Vietnamese traditional long dress, in the 3rd Áo Dài Festival, scheduled to be held from March 5th to 19th.
During the festival, the organizers encourage women to wear áo dài in daily activities. They will also launch a trip, Áo Dài City, My Beloved City, from the Student Cultural House to cultural and natural heritage sites for students who wear áo dài and travel on bicycles to promote environmental protection campaign. The city also encourages people to wear the traditional costume on Sundays in a month to promote tourism activities. Other activities including talks of áo dài, history and changes of áo dài throughout centuries, as well as photo exhibition entitled Áo dài Through the Ages, will be held from March 5th to 31st. The fair will also be organized at the City Youth Cultural House from March 18th to 20th.
And that has wrapped up our daily bulletin. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye from Hanoi.